Good morning. This is Phoebe Roaf, Bishop of the Episcopal Diocese of West Tennessee, coming to you in the winter of 2022 with news about the 2022 Bishop's Missionary Appeal. Each year, the Bishop of the Diocese does a direct appeal to the members and congregations to help support a ministry that hasn't been specifically included in the diocesan budget. 2 years ago, I asked for support to help furnish Barth House, which was being reopened after a 10-year hiatus as our diocesan college ministry. And last year, I asked for support for our communications ministry. This year, we are not going to just ask for support for one thing, but actually for three things. And that's why the Reverend Ollie Richer is with me today as the president of the Standing Committee to talk a little bit about the process by which we came to this year's decisions. So I'm going to turn it over to Ollie, and then after he talks, we'll give you some more details about the specifics. Good morning, Ollie.
Good morning, Your Grace. Thank you for having me, and good morning, everyone. It's an exciting day in the life of the diocese as we reflect on what took place for the first time ever, an Episcopal Mutual Ministry Review, which is an opportunity for the bishop to gather with diocesan leaders to reflect on how are we collectively doing ministry. It's not a professional development review of the bishop or of staff, but it is an exciting time to be reflective, to be introspective, and to look at what things have taken place since the bishop joined us here in ministry. I want to thank those who participated as diocesan leaders. There will be a summary released that talks about the process, and you'll be able to see their names. But in short, a mutual ministry review is a really thoughtful measure of completing a questionnaire. The bishop completed a questionnaire, and so did those various leaders. There were 8 different people who filled out answers and sent those in to a consultant who joined us from New York City, and she was able to gather that information and bring it back to us. And we gathered on October the 22nd at Bridges here in Memphis, and were able to reflect with the bishop, to have transparent conversation, and from it to come out with what is this summary, which I hope you will read thoroughly to understand more fully how there are 3 major priorities that came from it. So I, as president of the Standing Committee, just want to say thank you. Thank you to the bishop, thank you to the diocese, thank you to all who have participated, and I hope you will spend time with our executive summary from that time. And I'm excited about the bishop's mission appeal, and we'll turn it back to her to talk about the priorities and how you can offer your support to make us even stronger.
Yeah.
Thanks.
Thank you, Ollie, for your leadership in this area. You know, our diocese functions not just because of the people who are here in the diocesan office, but clergy and lay leaders from throughout the diocese who volunteer so much of their time and expertise to assist me. So, Ollie, thank you for your role.
My pleasure.
The folks who gathered last October unanimously said that support for our small congregation should be the #1 priority in 2022. One of the things that we've realized is that without an accurate sense of where our congregations are, we don't really know how best to support them at the diocesan level.
Right.
So I went to Bishop and Council, that is the organization that is responsible for the programmatic priorities of the diocese as well as the financial situation, and asked them for the funding to hire a consultant to actually visit all of our small congregations, to listen deeply to our lay leaders and clergy when they have clergy, to collect some data so that we can have a baseline of how best to support them moving forward. And because that wasn't included in the 2022 diocesan budget, Bishop and Council has agreed to the hiring of a consultant, and we're very hopeful that the proceeds from this year's Bishop's Missionary Fund, along with a couple of other resources, will fund the position.
Correct.
Followed with a close second by diocesan level support for children and youth. They were thrilled that Barth House has reinvigorated the college ministries, but they said, what about the younger kids? And then third, some sort of a diocesan racial reconciliation initiative. So this year's Bishop's Missionary Appeal will be devoted to those three priorities identified by that diocesan leadership team, with a special emphasis on the support for small congregations. So we want to really encourage not only individuals who are committed to supporting our smaller congregations, children and youth, and want the diocese to really have something particular about bringing people of various racial and ethnic backgrounds together to support this year's Bishop's Missionary Fund, but also congregations. So we want to encourage you to give generously so that in the midst of all of the changes of COVID and the other changes, Ali, and challenges that we're seeing in our life as Americans, we can figure out how to support the small congregations, which are so often like a pillar, a beacon of hope in these communities.
Well, Bishop, I must say how exciting it is, and to all of you, how exciting it is thinking about the appeal and also thinking about the work of the Mutual Ministry Review. It was a very revealing time, a joyful time, a thorough time.
Mm-hmm.
And as I think about these major priorities, and I have not shared this with the bishop yet as we're having this video, but I plan to make a commitment of $1,000.
Oh, thank you very
on
much.
behalf of myself.
Yes.
To the work of this appeal, and just want to thank you for your leadership, and to all in this diocese who make us strong, and to encourage you to do the same.
So in this season of Epiphany, when we're filming this video, it's all about light. And we know that our small congregations and our amazing children and youth, the young people that we're blessed to have in our lives, they are a source of light, not just for us personally, but far beyond. And so please consider giving generously to this year's Bishop's Missionary Appeal.